Hey folks, I want to do a Bible comparison video between two of Crossway's kind of starter level premium Bibles. The top one is the large print Thinline Reference Bible in top grain leather. Very popular Bible, especially if you're just getting into premium Bibles. Not really ready to pay for the Allen or pay for the Omega or the Cambridge, but you really like the nice covers, and this is a great place to start. And also the one on bottom is the verse by verse reference Bible in top grain leather. So let's kind of start with the cover differences and the spine. On the large print Thinline, you can see you have the three ESVs, the raised ribs, which are nice, and Crossway on the spine, Holy Bible on the top. And in the verse by verse, you only have the two. I think it looks a little cleaner on the verse by verse. I might say it's a win in that category for the verse by verse, just because it's a little cleaner looking. And it seems that the spines are a little bigger, a little higher, and also the spine is rounded slightly. You can probably see that a little bit. You can see how it's a little rounded, where the large print Thinline, this thing is square. It's a box, so it makes the spine boxy or just flat, which that probably doesn't help the spine or the ribs, but it gives it a much more classical look, the verse by verse, because it does have that slight curvature to it, where the large print Thinline is just flat. So yeah, I guess it's a matter of preference. I prefer the slightly rounded to the completely flat, but that might just be me. Let's kind of break them. Now keep in mind, this large print Thinline, I have upgraded it. It was a used edition, where this one's a new edition, and but I had Francisco Guerrero add the art gilding and the much nicer ribbons than the ribbon. This one came with only one ribbon, where this one came with two. So anyway, just keep that in mind, that this one's not as it would be stock. I'm just doing kind of a comparison of the covers and of the text. So anyway, so the cover, if you can tell, this is a grainy, almost like a calf skin. And I did in the verse by verse video, I compared it to the Foundation calf skin editions. Very similar feel, where this top grain is almost like it's been pressed, but it's still top grain, like it's got a smoother feel. It's really nice. I'm not complaining about it. It's definitely more of a cowhide. You can see the grain when you roll it, but it definitely looks more like a cowhide than a calf skin. You can see the finer grain there, but they're definitely two completely different feeling top grain leathers. I wish that Crossway would specify which, prior, so that people aren't mistakenly misled, thinking they're going to get this kind of cover and they get this one, or thinking they're going to get this kind of cover and get this one. Now, you probably wouldn't be upset if you got the mix-up, but it's nice to know what you're getting, if you're expecting a certain thing. So anyway, both covers they're not stitched. They're just folded over, nicely pleated corners. Same thing on this edition. So that's kind of your starter premium. You're not going to have that most of the time you're not going to have that stitch perimeter. Local Church is probably one of the only kind of starter premium Bibles that you'll have a stitch perimeter for a really affordable price. So they're both edge lined, same as that. So really the differences come in the text layout. This is a verse by verse, and this is a large print Thinline. Now there's a huge difference when it comes to functionality. So you can see the differences here in the text size, where you have a 10-point font and a 9-point font, and or actually this one's a 10.5 point font, and this is a 9, so it's a significantly bigger text in the large print thin line. But this is in paragraph form, double column paragraph form with references on the bottom right. This one is in double column verse by verse format, which is easier for referencing when preaching and teaching. But as far as readability, this one is far superior. Also, the large print thin line is line matched. The verse by verse is not. So when you're looking at reading, if you're just wanting something to hold and read, this one, the large print thin line, is going to be better. Also, this verse by verse has got the wider margin, 3/4 inch on the sides and half on the bottom and top, where you're not going to have the huge margins on the large print thin line, which makes the Bible smaller, easier to hold, and a little bit more comfortable to hold, and if you're going to be reading from it. So as far as a pure reader, I would give the edge, most definitely give the edge of the win to the large print thin line. But just it all depends on what you're going to use this Bible for. If you're going to be preaching and teaching, and I think I said this in the verse by verse review, this is the superior Bible. If you're preaching and teaching from this Bible, you have room to make notes on your sermons. It's easier for referencing. It actually has a bigger concordance, a bigger reference suite in the verse by verse. It has the same New Classic Reference, larger reference suite and larger concordance. So if you're studying from this Bible, preparing in this Bible, you can make notes in this Bible. You have room in the margins in this Bible. So this is a preacher's tool. If you're just wanting to read, this is a much better reader. So it just depends on what you're using the Bible for. If you are not a preacher or teacher and you just like to read your Bible, you're most likely going to be let down by this verse by verse, and you will be extremely pleased with the large print thin line and top grain. So anyway, as far as the layout goes, that's really the basics of it. Those are the biggest differences: the margin size, the text size, line matching versus non-line matched. They're both printed in China. I'll show you that. Kind of give you the info on both these Bibles from the onset. I think I skipped it right here, but we'll get to it eventually, I promise. See, both Bibles were printed in China. This particular edition was printed in 2014. Like I said, I think in 2015 they started doing only the 2 ESVs on the spine. So prior to that, this being a 14, this one has 3. Maybe not. Maybe the later printings of the large print thin line have 3 as well. Maybe not. The ones I've seen, 15 and older, 15 and younger have all only had 2, as far as Omegas and some other editions like the verse by verse and whatnot. But you can see they're both printed in China. This one's China in 2014. This one's China 2015, when they moved the verse by verse from Italy to China. And just kind of show you that. You can see 2015 in China. And like I said, the reference suite for the large print thin line is the same as it is in the Omega. It's the 2,400 word entries into the concordance. I want to say almost 10,000 references for the reference suite. If I can ever get there, I will try my best. Just a page away. Yeah, 2,400 word entries for the concordance, and nearly 10,000 for the reference suite, where the verse by verse has the same as the NCR, and it is the well, there you go, 3,000 word entries. So you have, like I said, for preparation tool, a minister's tool, this is a superior tool. If you're wanting just a reader, a quick reference, it's probably not going to have every reference that you would like, but it's going to have some nice quick references. It's going to be a better reader. The large print Thinlines is your best bet. So anyway, we've gone over the cover. They have the same maps, the same stock maps on the card stock, and you know, it's kind of the typical end of the line kind of stuff for Crossway, how they finish it out. Now you can kind of see the top grain leather liner on this large print Thinline is different than the liner for the verse by verse. For some reason, it looks like they used the same leather for the liner as they did for the cover. Now what that does, it makes this cover way floppier than this one. This cover is just as soft, not quite as floppy because the liner is stiffer, which is not a bad thing. It's a bigger Bible, wider Bible. They probably did that intentionally to help give it a little bit of rigidity when you're holding it. But this one, I mean, it's almost hard to hold. It's so fluid in the hand. And I think I already picked up and held it, but you just kind of see it's nuts. I mean, it's floppy. But if you're holding it, you can fold it up. I think that's one thing that makes it such a good reader. I can fold it up and read it one column at a time. It's just really nice. It just caters to the reader with the larger font size, line matching, and just the paragraph format with all the references in the bottom right. It makes it for much easier reading. So anyway, that's the comparison between the two. Just know that the form and function are very different between the verse by verse and the large print Thinline. Both of them are in top grain. The retail for the large print Thinline, you can see, is I want to say 140 if my eyes are not failing me, and 150 for the verse by verse. Now, like I said, you can get these for around a similar price, as you know, 1 to 110 on sale at Christian Book, are used in the $80 to $90 range on Facebook or Amazon or any of those, or eBay, you know. But the thing is, although they're similarly priced, they're different layout. Actually, even the covers are different. They're a little bit different in size. You can see the verse by verses is wider because of the wider margins. They're the same height, but the covers are slightly different. So just, that's why it's a kind of a know what you're buying, know what you're looking for. And you can see how pretty these things are when you change the ribbons out. You can see these nice navy blue ribbons, and the red art gilding just really add a lot to this large print Thinline Reference Bible. So you can just imagine what it would be if we added some ribbons and some art gilding to the verse by verse as well. So anyway, thanks for watching the comparison video. Let me know what you think of the two, and if I know I'd love to include the Reader's Bible, I'd love to include the Psalter, I'd love to include a lot of the other top grain editions in these comparisons. I just don't have them yet, so I've got to try to acquire those so I can make a little bit better comparison between all the top grains that Crossway produces. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Hope this was informative, and God bless.